Hi everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I wanted to show you a super simple card that you can create for Christmas. Now, you all know, sometimes I'm not a big fan of the Memories of More card packs, but this sweet, so Santa Express has Memories of More cards and envelopes, which I used all of the one. Oh, nope, I have one left. I was gonna say I used all of one of them, but I used these to create a really simple card for card class. It was kind of a play on this and this as a combination. So nice part is it comes with 10 of each. So there's 10 of the dark green bases. These are shaded spruce based. And there are 10 of the red bases, which I believe these are Poppy Parade, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Poppy Parade. So they also come with envelopes, which is nice because you can just, this would be a great class if you're a demonstrator and you're trying to create an easy class. It was really fun for that. Or if you're trying to just bang out a bunch of Christmas cards really quickly. So they come with coordinating envelopes, which is really nice. And I did kind of mix and match them when I gave them out. And one other thing I wanted to show you, and I actually didn't do it on this one, but we'll do it on this card instead, is I actually created it with the green, but I had some people in class create it with the red Poppy Parade version, which we'll do that today. And if for some reason, if you don't dig the polka dot background, you could always just use the red. So I'm going to use the back side of this today. So again, it will have a coordinating envelope, which makes it really easy if you have to get a whole bunch of cards done at once. And we're using a lot of very simple DSP for this, okay? So here's the card design that I created. So you can see this is on the shaded spruce background. And here is another one. Uses a lot of pre-done cutting ideas. So it's really simple. So you can just basically pair this with your envelope. Okay, I used, I believe these are retired, but I'm going to show you what they are anyway. But I used these little snowflakes, but they also have some newer snowflakes, the adhesive back stars, which could double as snowflakes. But I kind of did them as if it was puffs coming out of the train, but snowflake puffs. This one doesn't have any, so you could leave them off if you don't want that. And then the other thing I did was, this one was my original card design, so I didn't put any, which I need to put some snowflakes on this one. But I actually created this, it was a little bit longer. So when I did this second version, this was just done with the scrap, and I'll show you this. But I used the Banner Triple Punch, which I believe is also retired. But if you happen to have it, you could use it. Otherwise, you could just use your paper snips and just put a little flag pennant on there. So I'm going to put this here. So what I did was I used a lot of DSP. This was for a card club that I do once a month. And I am usually very heavy on the techniques or a lot of stuff. So I tried to make this one as simple as possible. So we just did some die cutting with the DSP here. You can also stamp and die cut. So if you want to put it together with a little bit more effort, you could totally do that. But there's lots of parts of this that are actually just included in the DSP. So it makes it super simple. So again, this is a whole suite collection, or you can just do bits and pieces. If you do buy the stamps and the dies together, you do get a 10% bundle price. The DSP, I'm actually already on my second pack. It's really fun. And I do believe I got both of these folders. I have to check. I haven't used those yet, but lots of ideas. And usually, so this is on page 16. When you turn the page, there will be second set of ideas here. But just in case you haven't noticed this before, I'm going to show you one other thing. In the back, if you have a bundle, they will actually give you some additional ideas. So here's another card that's not really Christmas colors, but it does use those same dies. So you stamp it, die cut it, lots of fun stuff. There are some mountains in the background, which are really fun to create. So there's always lots of other ideas. Plus you can either Google Santa Delivery Bundle, Stampin' Up, or you could look on Pinterest, and I'm sure you'll find tons of ideas. But this is a design that I came up with, which I thought was pretty simple. So let me make sure, do I have my card base? Yes. So I have my card base. So what I did, and I have one extra piece here, I'm going to show you what I did. So when you die cut, and the only ink we need is shaded spruce. When you die cut these, you will end up with a lot of extra little pieces, which is where my ho 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 came from. But you also have the stripes, so you could do that as well. So I have some extra pieces. So as you can see, this is kind of partial, but we do still have the wheels. So we could use that one. I think there's a couple other, here's another little one. This would just depend on what you were trying to do with it. These are, again, just little extra pieces. So I kind of saved them because I figured I could use them for something. And then the other idea I had, I know I have a lot of top pieces here because of the way the DSP lays, but you could always use the other side. Okay, so for this one, I actually used a paper from, I believe it's the Candy Cane Suite. I can't remember exactly, but Candy Cane Suite. But I wanted kind of something to contrast. So we could use this little strip here for our card today. And then this piece here, which is where the bottom of the dies lie, this is the other side with the ho, ho, ho. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let me make sure I have the correct pieces. This piece here is what we're going to use for our background. So basically we're going to just trim this out, cut it down, and fit that on there as well. This is the other side, which is really cute. So I'm going to keep this over here as well. I need both of those pieces. I only need a partial piece of this, but I do need a Santa. So I'm hoping I have at least enough. Yep, here's plenty. So basically the easiest way to do this, what I did was I trimmed right below the snow. That way I could get multiple Santas out. And then if I needed the other side, I could use it. And I'm pretty sure with this ho, ho, ho piece, I'll show you what I did, but lots of potential for piecing cards together. So it really is a very simple set to use. Let me put this away because we don't need that. We're not going to use this one. Just trying to get a little bit of stuff out of the way. And a lot of times some of these embellishments will end up in the clearance rack. So these are the adhesive back snowflakes. Maybe you still have some. There's some that are very iridescent, and there's some that are a little bit more of a blue and purple iridescent. But these were 153545. They might be in there. You never know. So I just figured I would share that with you. I'm going to put these here so I remember to pop them out. Now, this stamp set is photopolymer. So if you don't have something to stamp on, the Stampin' Pierce Mat, I don't really know if we use it so much for piercing. It might be called a Stampin' Pad. I've had mine for a super long time. This is actually stays on ink, which you can still clean off if you need to. But this is really great for using when you have photopolymer stamps because you need a little cushion for those. So to begin, I'm just going to move a couple of these things over for now. Actually, I don't even need any of these trees. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this piece here. And what I did is I measured this so it would kind of be like it was creating a scene. Okay, so it doesn't really fit the full length of the card. I think it's 5.5 inches. And then it's just basically whatever it measures, 5.5 by about 3. And I did do a full size piece for this. I believe this is a 6.5 inch card, 6.25 inch card. Yeah, it's a 6.25 inch card. And let's see, that's by about 1.25 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece first. And essentially what I did is just rode right up the line there. And I'm just making sure that lines up. All right, so just kind of pick which piece you want. I'm going to pick this one just because it's got a little bit more negative space there. It doesn't matter which one you use. They are really adorable. And I'm going to open up my trimmer in case you don't have a Stampin' Up! Trimmer. The nice part about these trimmers are they do open up to 17 inches. So 6 inches is here. Right here, we are at 6.25. This is 6.5. This is 6.75. We had a different trimmer and the numbers were really hard to see, so they definitely have improved this. So 6.25. All right, so that's going to be our piece. Oh, you know what? That wasn't supposed to be 6.25. Silly. I think I said that one was 5. The wide piece was that, which it's really no big deal. And honestly, since I already cut it, we'll just leave this full. That way I'm not trimming off and throwing it away. But really, I believe it was 5.5. Yeah, so if you have this little leftover piece, I'll just use this as is so I get more out of it. So we have that. And then I'm going to use this little piece here that was just our scrap. And this one is going to be 6.25 as well. Oh, this is a little narrow. It's okay. We'll just use it just to get rid of it. Doesn't matter if it's narrow or not. We're basically just needing a little something for our train to ride on so it looks slightly more realistic. And I did have one piece out. I think this was 4. Nope, that was ho-ho-hos. Here, nope, that's not it either. I just wanted a little piece. There you go, with the ho-ho-ho, so I could kind of show you what I meant. I'm going to do a little bit wider of a piece. So that will be for our punch portion. Blah. Okay. All right, so from here, really the only other thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little die cutting. And I did say I was going to pull this off as well. So let me just pop this over here. And the only other thing we're going to do is we're going to die cut a Santa. So I'm basically going to just line this up. And I really just want to make sure that I'm not cutting off the top of any of my train. So what we'll do is we're going to die cut. We'll just die cut the Santa here. So I'm going to die cut him. And then I need one more train car. That was the only other thing I forgot. And I don't know if I have a full sheet of that. Yep, here's one. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to trim this off so I can cut out because I want to have at least one full train car. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to be working with. So essentially from here, we're doing a little bit of die cutting and it's really pretty easy. So this does come with coordinating dies. Let me just move those pieces up here. I get these from Stampin Storage. They are magnet sheets and they fit really nicely in here. These are the 5x7 version, so they fit really, really nicely. So I have this partial, nope, not that one. That's not the one I would. I have this partial reindeer and then I have a partial, just a present. So I'm going to cut a reindeer and then I'll add this to the end and you'll see what I mean. And actually, since I cut it a little bit long, it'll kind of work out better than expected. So I'm going to just line this up, just put a little piece of washi tape on there, and then I'm going to do the same with the engine. So lining it up, and it looks good. Let me just put a little piece of washi on here. Now this also comes with lots of other stuff. So you do have actual train tracks that you could die cut. It coordinates with a lot of stuff. You have signs. Actually, you even have signs that go 2 different directions. This coordinates with a lot of the stuff in the DSP. You could cut out a little wreath if you wanted to. There is, I believe these are for the Christmas tree stands. There's a bow. Lots of really fun stuff. Oh, and the other thing is the tree. It does have a little tree die. So you could totally make this as busy or unbusy as you wanted to. So as you all know, I still have my big shot. So I'm going to put both of these on at the same time and run this through, and that will make it super duper easy. And then I'll save the rest of the die cuts for another card. So that's, whoop. I also have another project going on that I can't really talk about because I'm afraid that someone's going to randomly come upstairs and listening. But when I get a minute, and I know there's no eavesdropping, I will let you in on some fun planned. All right, now I want to show you one other thing. So there are 2 die cuts. Here's going to be our extra piece here. So one other thing that I've done, and I have done this before in the past, and I end up never using what I was going to use because I throw it away or I can't find it or whatever the case may be. But what I have done with this particular paper is I tried to, and I'm just going to show you, I tried to just kind of line this up and trim it right to the edge. So I have this piece that I could use, or I could just use the reverse side. And then same with this. So I'm just trimming off because I find that if I have all these little scrappy things attached to it, it ends up getting ripped and I never use it at all. So just a little tip. And the other thing I've done is this piece, these are the ho-ho-hos. So these are how I actually ended up with that other design idea. And I basically just trimmed it right to the edge. The other thing you could do is you could even make a little, just a little background with your tree. If you needed just a small piece for like maybe some mini cards, or you were really stretching it, say if you're watching this video towards the end of the preparing to send out your Christmas cards, or maybe you send out New Year's cards. There's nothing wrong with that too. I know a lot of people that do that. But in case you're trying to look for a stretched idea, that's what you can do. So what we're going to do is now just kind of line up and I cut this just a little bit off, but that's okay. No worries. We're going to line up all of our stuff and we're going to just take a peek at it. Let's just look at our sample here. Let's take a peek at it. So you want to have this kind of on top like that. So it's almost like it's riding on the track. And you know what? I think I'm going to take just a little bit off of this. Just maybe 1/8 of an inch. Because, yeah. So I'm going to cut this down to 6. I'm just going to pick one side and trim it off. That'll end up being 1/8 from each side. Because I want just a little bit of a border. Because it feels like it's slightly more of a scene if you have a little bit of a border. And remember, the other side of this is the dots. So if you wanted it to look like a little bit of a crazy snowstorm, you have that. But I'm just going to go with the red just for the sake of doing it differently. All right, so we're going to just crease that. We're going to put this on. And this is kind of the part where you can make it look as fancy or not. I'm going to grab my little slim ho ho ho. Make sure you have it the right way or else your card's going to say oh, 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 which is fine. I'm going to pop this in. And when I have a piece that's kind of in between, what I usually do is just try my best to center it. And I'm going to trim this off just a smidge. So I'm going to bring it. That should be pretty straight. Yeah, just because I want you to be able to see it behind the train. And since I'm adding more than one train to this particular one, that's why I wanted to do it that way. So what I kind of figured is, if you have an engine and a car, what if you went with an engine and a car and then another car? And what we can do is we can trim this off. So it's going to kind of be a little bit fuller. And we're going to put this up on dimensionals and we're going to tuck these behind so they kind of look connected. So that's basically the gist of it. So I am going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of all of these parts. Super, super simple. I mean, not a lot of brain work here. You're just piecing stuff together. And as I said, you can use kind of as much or as little as you want. I'm going to make sure that I put more dimensionals on this full piece, and then the next one I'm going to make sure I keep them off to this side because I don't know where I'm going to trim. We can always add in one if we need it. And one here for now. That should be good. All right, and before I do that, I'm just going to do one more thing. Let me grab this really quickly. I'm going to put my sentiment on the inside. So I'm going to move these over. And on this one, I think I put, yeah, you make this season jolly. Merry Christmas. So you can kind of do whatever you want. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. It's your card. So I'm going to do Shaded Spruce. And I'm going to do Alpha Proven Sleigh Delivered. Here we go. Yep, there we go. A little bit bigger. Oh, all my blocks are hiding. There we go. Okay, and if you make a mistake, because I had a couple people in card class that did a little whoopsie, you just add some of these little embellishments. Kind of add to your card. Just like so. Cute. And I'm going to grab, where's one of my little blocks? I'm just going to put these little decorative stars because I think they're cute. That's the one that I told them to add if they needed to. So it kind of looks like a little twinkle. There you go. Adorable. That's really all the stamping. Super easy. Most of the rest of it is just putting it together. All right. So, and I had one other one. So I want you to be able to just see this while we're doing it. Okay. So depending however you want to put your track, if you want it to be underneath, but I'm going to layer mine fully underneath. It is a little bit slimmer. Remember we said that from the beginning, but all right, so I'm going to put some liquid glue. Oopsie. Put some liquid glue. And the nice part about liquid glue is, this is why I personally like it, in case you whoops, you can adjust it. Just make sure that looks like it's low enough. Yep, that looks good. I'm going to put this down. I actually love the little shooting star design. That's the one problem about DSP when it's super cute, specifically Christmas, is choosing which side you want to use. All right, making sure that is fairly straight for the most part. So if you want to, where do we do with our little... it was here a moment ago. Here it is. With our little piece, just eyeball before you set this whole thing up. So remember, we're going to have these kind of overlapped. This little hitch you want to tuck so it's behind there. And I'm going to actually bring this down just a smidge. Same with this one. This is going to be down just a little bit. I think I'm going to move this over here. Again, if you don't want this, you can omit it. Your card, so do whatever you like. But I was just using up those little bits of DSP because I thought they were really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my backings. Actually, I have a super duper old paper piercer that I know I've told this story many times before. When I got it, I was like, man, this thing has an imperfection. It's got a hook at the end and it doesn't paper pierce, but it really picks dimensionals up like a champ. All right, so I'm going to go right here. I'm just going to try and get this in as close as I can. Now that I thought about it, I have with my little ho ho ho. I should have probably moved this only because I'm going to have my little snowflakes, but no biggie. We will work with it. Okay. Again, I'm going to try to tuck this underneath and just make sure the wheels are somewhat lined up correctly. And then last but not least, this one we're going to have to trim off. Just a smidge. Okay, and I'm just going to flip this over. Grab my scissors. I'm going to open my card up because I've done it before closed and sometimes I miss a little something. So I'm just going to line this up, snip. Perfect. So there's that. And let me clean up all my 8,000 dimensionals. All right, and finally, the only other thing we're going to use is our little snowflakes. So I'm going to pick these up if I can locate. There you go, my take your pick tool. Just use the putty end of this, works really well. You could also use the flat spatula if you needed to, but I'm just going to put some snowflakes. Since we have a long train, we might as well add a whole bunch of them. So it looks like that's just snowflakes puffing out. And since I forgot to add them to this one the first time, I'm just going to do this while I'm at it. Great idea if you have some really fun embellishments to use up that you haven't used. It kind of gives you a good reason to use them. And then you won't feel so bad about buying all those things. I'm going to add a couple more to this one too because I never ended up going over the sign. I'm not really sure why. I put one down here, but there you go. So really easy way to use up a lot of supplies that you might have on hand and maybe not necessarily know what you were thinking of doing with them, because I don't know if that's ever happened to you all or not, but it happens to me all too often where I'm going to use something and then I buy it and I either forget what I bought it for or I can't remember where I put it, which is really sad if you're thinking about crafting, because you have abandoned supplies that you didn't use. That's just a shame. But hey, you know what? At least I found them eventually and now I'm using them. So there you go. Might be a couple years too late, but I'm sure I'm not the only person that's done that. So these cards are super, super easy to create. Lots of fun stuff that you can make with them. I do love the green version a little bit more. I think it's just the contrast between the two, but the red one is really cute too. One other thing you could add to this, and I wanted to tell you this ahead of time while I'm thinking of it. Two things actually, because I ordered this specifically for this. So we do have the Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. Now, one thing about this, to get it to puff, you actually have to heat it with your heat tool. And you want to make sure that you're kind of being careful. Reason being is if you heat it, it kind of can underwarp some of the, like if you have layers together, it almost will loosen it. So be careful when you're using your puff paint. If I were you, say for example, you were going to add this to something like, just say the beard. I would do Santa's beard, heat it, and then put it on your card. Try not to do stuff on your card because I've done that before and it just makes things a little bit warpy. Another thing that you could use, which would be really fun, and I bought these for something, and again, I should have written the idea down because I had a great idea in my head. Now I can't remember what the heck I was going to use them for specifically, but you could also use, these are new, pearlized enamel effects, and they have black, I believe it's red. Yeah, black, real red, and white. And then these, what you could do is if you wanted to add, just say like something, for example, let me do this because this will be funnier if I do it this way. And then this definitely does need to sit. So I haven't used these before. So just to wrap this up, why not give our reindeer a little red nose? So I think these, again, do take a little bit to dry. And let's see. You know, I'm trying very much not to get my head in. All right, so instead of him having a black nose, and I'm going to bring it a little closer so you can see, I'm going to give him a little bit of a red nose. Trying not to squeeze too hard because I don't want it to be a huge glob. But this definitely is going to need to sit and dry. So I normally do these videos and then I photograph the cards right afterwards. So probably to be able to post this, I'm going to just photograph this one and then I'll add the extra train cards. But you could do same thing if you wanted to add like just a little bit of decoration to the wheels of the train. So you want to add a little bit of something to the present. It's really, really, really cute. And they do kind of pop just like little dots. So it's just like a little... And it is pearlized, which makes it shiny and it's really kind of cute. But a little bit of something to your reindeer. Super, super cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, if you have a card idea or a card set that you would like me to use, or stamp set, or a specific technique that you're looking to see, please feel free to leave me a comment here on YouTube. I do read all my comments. Sometimes it's a little bit delayed, but I do read all my comments and I reply to probably 98% of them. So this is the place if you would like to get an answer to something or you have a suggestion, please, I would love to read your comments and suggestions. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bell for notifications, and better yet, share this with a friend. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. I am really, really close to being there. I'm not sure what it unlocks, but there's some other additional features that I know I will be able to use if that is the case. So thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. This is such a sweet set. I got it because you guys know the Rainbow Stamper absolutely loves trains, even though he's a little bit older now. He's coming up on his 9th birthday. I can't even believe it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.